From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang in review. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday evening returned to the country after his very productive 6-day official visit to the United States, where he participated in the 30th Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC Economic Leaders Meeting in San Francisco, California, and was able to obtain $672.3 million worth of investment pledges. The investment pledges secured are $400 million for the telecommunications sector, $250 million for semiconductor and electronics, $20 million in pharmaceutical and healthcare, $2 million for artificial intelligence or AI for weather forecasting, and $300,000 in renewable energy. In his arrival statement, the President said, the investment commitments from U.S. companies are expected to open thousands of direct and indirect job opportunities for Filipinos. Let's listen to the arrival speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
economies of APEC and 13 IPEF member countries for the 30th APEC Economic Leaders Meeting and the second IPEF Leaders Meeting, respectively. I also held separate meetings with President Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China, Peruvian President Dina Ercilia Boluarte Segarra, who is the incoming chairman. Peru is the incoming chairman for APEC for next year. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command Commander, Admiral John Aquilino. Our discussions were, of course, very productive, with innovation, resilience, sustainability, and inclusiveness as cross-cutting themes that are buttressed by our commitment to further strengthening cooperation and to address challenges that are common to all our economies, both economic challenges and security challenges. These reinforce my discussions with leaders during the APEC Economic Leaders Meeting, in which I pushed for our priorities in clean, renewable, and just and accessible, affordable energy, food security, health systems, digitalization and digital transformation, and digital inclusion of MSMEs, and of course, climate action through regional cooperation. We identified concrete ways forward, as reflected in intergovernmental agreements concluded during the visit. One of the most important is the signing of the so-called 1-2-3 agreement, which is a civil nuclear cooperation agreement with the United States. This paves the way for potential nuclear power projects with American providers, as well as for streamlining licensing requirements for the private sector with respect to investments on nuclear-related intangible transfers of technology, while ensuring the highest standards of safety, security, and safeguards. This will bring us closer to our vision of a more energy secure and green Philippines. We must commend both teams, both from the Philippines and the United States, because it is my understanding that this 1-2-3 agreement that the U.S. has signed with the Philippines was done in the fastest time that a 1-2-3 agreement has ever been done. And that is why we have to congratulate both teams and for a job well done, and thank you to the United States for the support in this matter. We signed on to the IPEF supply chain agreement. It will serve as an important mechanism to improve supply chain transparency and to enable sustainable industry development with respect to critical sectors and critical goods. It will also enhance the role of workers and the promotion of labor rights. The agreement provides a framework for mobilizing sustainable investments and technologies and knowledge transfers from IPEF partners, including the United States, to the Philippines. I also met a number of U.S. companies that are looking to enter Philippine markets, as well as further expand those that have an existing presence and operations in our country. Among them, since we were in San Francisco, we met with leading technology companies and investors from Silicon Valley. Our discussion focused on our vision of technological inclusivity and shared growth. So I look forward to the continuing collaboration between our agencies and these companies as we adapt to emerging technologies such as the generative AI to ensure that our regulatory framework and workforce development programs are responsive. Embracing the use of advanced technologies in the Philippines, we concluded a number of public, private, and private sector agreements with U.S. companies. The DOST and ATMO are partnering on an AI-powered weather forecasting system that will help the Philippines build resilience to climate change. Astranis and Orbitz Corp have joined forces to bring reliable internet connectivity to underserved areas in the Philippines. This $400 million partnership will be a catalyst for economic growth and digital transformation in the energy sector. Essentially, what that project is about is that now the Philippines is launching a satellite dedicated for the Philippines alone. And this is for communication, and this will increase the coverage of our internet providers. And by the way, we named the satellite Aguila. In the energy sector, Ultrasafe Nuclear Corporation and Meralco are undertaking pre-feasibility studies on micro-modular reactors. This partnership is a significant step towards exploring clean and sustainable energy options for the Philippines. The energy sector is a cornerstone of the country's industrial growth and development, and the government is continuing to be committed to finding ways to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and to increase resilience to climate change. We were able to sign that pre-feasibility agreement simply because the 123 agreement with the United States had been perfected, and that now gave us the green light to continue with those projects that have really been in the offing, waiting in the wings for the 123 agreement. In the pharmaceutical sector, Lloyd Laboratories and DifGen Pharmaceuticals have formed a joint venture for the product development and export of pharmaceutical products to the U.S. The Philippines is emerging as one of the fastest growing pharmaceutical markets in Southeast Asia, and this joint venture is a significant step towards expanding the country's local production share. In the healthcare sector, AC Health and Varian have embarked on a groundbreaking partnership to improve access to quality cancer care in the Philippines. This cooperation agreement is a significant step in the fight against cancer. It reflects the Philippines' growing potential as a leading healthcare destination in Asia. Altogether, we return to the Philippines with more or less $670 million in investment pledges that have the potential to create thousands of direct and indirect jobs for Filipinos within our country. We look forward to seeing more of these partnerships materialize in the months ahead, especially with the visit of the high-level U.S. Presidential Trade and Investment Mission in March next year. And we are also co-hosting the 2024 Indo-Pacific Business Forum. Just as an explanation, the high-level business delegation that is coming is a delegation that was formed by President Biden himself, and upon the request of the Philippines to explore the different opportunities for investment and for operations here in the Philippines, especially in the targeted sectors that we have been speaking about. And this is, in fact, a new feature, as there has never been a presidential high-level delegation to any country before. And that is, again, because of our continuing strong partnership with the United States. Of course, my visit would not have been complete without engaging with our kababayans in the Filipino communities around the cities where we visited. I had the great pleasure to meet about 1,000 of our kababayans in each of the 3 cities that we stopped at, including those from neighboring states, all the way from Alaska, Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, Texas, Washington State. They came all the way to be with us both in San Francisco and in Los Angeles. As ever, I thank them for their valuable contributions to their communities in the Philippines and in the United States, including the political achievements of some Filipino Americans. The good words said of Filipinos around the world makes me once again proud to be a Pinoy. I encourage them to unite and to work with us towards building a stronger and more resilient Philippines tungo sa isang bagong Pilipinas. And this morning, or at least that's what it feels like for me, earlier today, I capped my visit with a speaking engagement at the Daniel Inouye Asia Pacific Center for Security Studies, where I shared my reflection on the most crucial challenges to our common aspirations of a peaceful and prosperous future for the Philippines and the region, securing the peace in the West Philippine Sea, and securing strategic sectors and critical infrastructures up to and including cyber security and strengthening of our digital space. Despite the evolving and complex challenges, my message was one of optimism, that together with the U.S., our oldest and only treaty ally, and our growing network of other partners, we will be able to bring peace, stability, prosperity to the Indo-Pacific region, as long as our partnerships are based on mutual trust and respect for one another as sovereign equals, and that our actions are anchored in international law, including the UNCLOS and the 2016 Arbitral Award.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. expressed optimism about the Philippines' potential as a technological hub, capitalizing on available technological advancements and aided by the country's young and talented workforce. In a media interview before departing for Manila, the president was asked by reporters about his discussions with various United States technological companies and how they can help the Philippines achieve such goals, especially those related to the use of artificial intelligence or AI. President Marcos said that the Philippines has a young workforce that are good in technology and just needs a little upskilling. The chief executive also said that he and his team learned many things about the thinking of American planners in the tech industry and about what part the Philippines can play.
And I think one of the areas that we concentrated on are new methods to create an ecosystem that is very useful for startups. Kasi if kung technology ang pag-uusapan, kailangan bago lahat eh. So kailangan ma-encourage natin ang startups. Ang problema sa startup, 95% of them fail. But that's the nature of the business. So you have to have an ecosystem that can support that failure rate. Because yung sa 5% that succeed, ilan ang unicorn dyan? And they will pull up the rest of the whole system. So that's essentially what we spoke about. What are the new systems that we can put into place to make the Philippines a center of the emerging technologies? And I think we have met with some really brilliant people here in the United States who are very, very forward-thinking. And palagay ko kaya natin gawin eh. Because in terms of technology, hindi ito yung smokestack industry that you have to have very large capital investments, you have to buy very expensive machines, you have to have big production lines. Iba ito, it all exists in cyberspace.
And we have a big advantage in that. Because again, paulit-ulit kong sinasabi, but talagang totoo, is our workforce. Dahil bata yung workforce natin, magaling tayo sa tech. Madali para sa atin ng technology. Siguro, with the talent that we already have in the Philippines, konting upskilling na lang, and we will already be at the forefront of all of these technologies. So that's what we were able to explore. And it goes beyond just the application of technologies. It's also how to open the markets the markets to the different elements of the technology, of the tech industry, such as the experts, the engineers, the coders, all of that. Yun ang ating natutunan. We learned very many things about how the thinking is of the planners in the tech industry and what part the Philippines can play. So we have made commitments for continued discussions so that we can put more detail into this. One of the most exciting ones was the opening of the market and centering the market around the Philippines so that we will become a hub of technology. So that's something that we have looked forward to. This, as you all know, it affects every part of every sector of society.
With regards to AI security, President Marcos said that this new technology must be properly regulated and monitored to prevent it from being exploited by criminals and from being used as a tool to disseminate fake news and other undesirable possibilities.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is wooing his fellow leaders at the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, to craft a new Code of Conduct, or COC, to ensure peace in the South China Sea, or SCS. This after the President lamented the slow negotiations on the proposed COC in SCS between ASEAN and China. During the Daniel Enoye Speaker Series at the Asia-Pacific Center for Security Studies in Honolulu, Hawaii on Monday, President Marcos said Vietnam and Malaysia are among the Southeast Asian nations he is trying to convince to come up with another C code to maintain peace in the SCS. The chief executive has been pushing for the conclusion of negotiations for the binding COC in SCS. China, the Philippines, and several other littoral states have overlapping claims in the South China Sea. Beijing is claiming about 80% of the contested waters. However, the Hague-based Permanent Court of Arbitration on July 12, 2016, ruled against China's supposedly historic rights over nearly the entire SCS. President Marcos said the Philippines would continue to strengthen its partnership with the United States, the country's only treaty partner, as well as with other like-minded nations and allies.
Starting with that, we also feel that it is the way forward is to strengthen our partnerships in all with all our neighbors and with all friendly nations who share our ideals, who share our aspirations, who share our values and the respect for the international rule of law. And this has been something that we have tried to develop, and we have, I believe, have had some measure of success, and we will continue to do this. But again, the bedrock of any of these partnerships is the partnership and the treaty arrangement that we have, the mutual defense treaty that we have with the United States. And in that regard, we are continuing to increase our capabilities so as to be able to answer the challenges that we are facing now it's becoming more and more often. Every so often, whenever there is a confrontation between outside forces and Philippine forces. This is unfortunately, as I have said to some of our partners, unfortunately I cannot report that the situation is improving. The situation has become more dire than it was before. The nearest reefs that the PLA have started to show interest in terms of slowly using these atolls, these shoals, as a basis for building. Basis really is what they are approaching, have come closer and closer to the Philippine coastline. And the nearest one is now around 60 nautical miles from the nearest Philippine coast. And this is an evolving situation. If you will remember, the Spratly Islands was used by the by the U.S. Navy as a bombing range for a very long time, and so there was no question that this was part of the Philippines. Now they have fallen into the hands of a foreign power, and many of these features that are in the West Philippine Sea are slowly being turned into bases. Really, Admiral Aquilino just showed me a relief sort of map, not map, but model of one of them. And it is remarkable how the extensive construction and the level of commitment that has been made to those military bases. And so it's not, it is something that in our view, of course, the United States, once again, is the bedrock, is the foundation for all that. But the more allies we find to speak up whenever such incursions occur, such incidents or events occur, then I think the stronger that voice will be. And so we have encouraged that to a great deal. The United States, of course, has been there. And in every instance where we have had trouble, the U.S. has always been behind us in terms of support, not only in terms of rhetoric, but also in terms of concrete support. But that also applies now to Australia, to South Korea, to Japan. We are now in the midst of negotiating our own code of conduct, for example, with Vietnam, because we are still waiting for the code of conduct between China and ASEAN. And the progress has been rather slow, unfortunately. And so we've taken the initiative to approach those other countries around ASEAN with whom we have existing territorial conflicts, Vietnam being one of them, Malaysia being another, and to make our own code of conduct, and hopefully this will be this will grow further and extend into the other ASEAN countries. And at the very least, we have that basis between not only in the multilateral sphere, as in ASEAN, or APEC, all of these other organizations, but also bilaterally with the different countries that around ASEAN who we have conflicts with, but whom I think we can find a way to maintain the status quo, and certainly the most primordial concern is to maintain the peace.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday said the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the United States Indo-Pacific Command, or US Indo-PACOM, have begun joint exercises in the West Philippine Sea, or WPS. In an ex-post, the President announced the beginning of the joint maritime and air patrols, adding that it is part of a series of events agreed upon by the Mutual Defense Board Security Engagement Board, or MDB-SEB, of both nations. The MDB-SEB is a framework for security and cooperation to provide an opportunity for Philippines and the U.S. to exchange views on security concerns and plan the range of military activities they will conduct in the following year, including the Balikatan exercises held annually. President Marcos said the three-day joint activity seeks to enhance the interoperability of both countries' military forces. The chief executive expressed confidence that the collaboration between the two countries will contribute to a more secure and stable environment for our people. President Marcos went to the U.S. Indo-PACOM headquarters during his visit to Honolulu, Hawaii, and was briefed on the regional situation and security objectives of the U.S. and the Philippines. In a media interview after his visit to the U.S. Indo-PACOM headquarters, President Marcos said the two countries were in the process of assessing how they could improve capabilities and coordination in multiple spheres encompassing military, political, and economic. Meanwhile, the AFP Public Affairs Office Chief, Colonel Cerces Trinidad, said the activity would cover Batanes and the West Philippine Sea. Trinidad said the activity involves 3 Navy vessels, 2 FA-50PH, and 1 A-29B Super Tucano from the side of the AFP, while the U.S. will send in 1 littoral combat ship and 1 P-8A.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte on Tuesday announced that the Department of Education, or DepEd, is developing a policy for Catch-Up Friday, which will allot every Friday of the week as a time for basic education learners to improve their reading and writing skills. The Vice President made the announcement during her speech at the culmination of the National Reading Month held at Esteban Abada Elementary School in Quezon City. The DepEd is not expecting to receive good results from the recent program for International Student Assessment, or PISA, an international system assessment meant to provide feedback on education quality, which the country has been participating in since 2018. Duterte said Catch-Up Friday will start on January 12, 2024. Spearheaded by the DepEd's Bureau of Learning Delivery of the Curriculum and Teaching Strand, the program Pagbasa, Pag-asa sa Matatag na Kinabukasan focuses on empowering public and private schools to join the reading celebration as anchored in the Matatag Agenda's literacy programs. The Matatag curriculum seeks to decongest the current K-12 curriculum by reducing the number of competencies to focus more on the foundational skills such as literacy, numeracy, and social-emotional skills of learners.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday said that the government is doing its best to ensure the safety of 17 Filipinos who were among those held hostage in the November 19th hijacking of a cargo vessel in the Red Sea. In a statement posted on his official X account, the president said the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, is coordinating with its counterparts in Iran, Oman, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia for updates. President Marcos added that the Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, is in regular communication with the families of the hostages. The DFA confirmed on Wednesday that the 17 Filipino seafarers were on board the cargo ship Galaxy Leader that was hijacked by Yemen's Houthi rebel group in the Red Sea. The Bahamas-flagged British-owned Galaxy leader with links to Israeli businessman Abraham Rami Ungar is operated by a Japanese firm. The 17 Filipino nations were among the 25 Galaxy leader crew members who were taken hostage by the rebel group. The other hostages are from Bulgaria, Romania, Ukraine, and Mexico. Based on Associated Press reports, Yemen's Houthi rebels hijacked the vessel over its connection to Israel and that all ships belonging to the Israeli enemy or that deal with it will become legitimate targets. The conflict between Israel and Hamas has entered its sixth week since the Palestinian group launched a cross-border attack on southern Israel on October 7th, and the latter responded with retaliatory strikes and ground assault in Gaza. The United States, which called for the immediate release of the ship and its crew, said it was considering designating Houthi rebels as rather a terrorist organization following the incident.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Thursday led a situation briefing in Tacloban City on the impact of weather systems on flood-stricken northern Samar after his visit to the province was canceled due to bad weather. The president was supposed to fly to Catarman, but due to inclement weather, he stayed at the airport and had a Zoom meeting with Northern Samar Governor Edwin Ongchuan. According to figures reported by Governor Ongchuan, approximately 70,295 families or 306,770 individuals have been affected by the incessant rains in the province. From the 20th to the 21st of November, within a 30-hour period, the amount of rainfall was recorded at 701.5 millimeters, brought about by the shear line. The figure surpasses the 2009 tropical storm Ondoy, which recorded 454.9 millimeters of rainfall. President Marcos also directed local officials to fast-track the repair of bridges and roads. Ongchuan also asked for the continuous augmentation of relief packs that local government units will distribute to affected families, including cash assistance. Work in government and private offices resumed Thursday in the province, but classes are still suspended until Friday, November 24th. The flooding affected 1,877 farmers, at least 1,941 hectares of farmland, and 2,604 animals. Moving forward, the provincial government plans to distribute family food packs, transport relief goods, and distribute emergency shelter kits to affected households. The effort will be coordinated with various national government agencies and other partners. The governor mentions receiving a call from Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian, who will be flying to the province the following day to personally deliver relief assistance. In addition, the Department of Agriculture or DA also plans to distribute seedlings to the affected agriculture communities.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Thursday assured the victims of the magnitude 6.8 earthquake in Mindanao that they would get assistance from various government agencies led by the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD. The president said rebuilding efforts would not be done immediately as aftershocks are still being experienced in parts of Socsargen, which covers South Cotabato, Sultan Kudarat, Sarangani, and General Santos City. during his visit to General Santos City to personally oversee the disaster response of government agencies, President Marcos said that there are no forecasts when it comes to earthquakes. President Marcos also met with various cabinet members, regional directors, and local chief executives to discuss the aftermath of the strong earthquake on November 17th. During the meeting, the chief executive urged all agencies to continue providing assistance and closely monitor the situation to ensure that the affected individuals would get the necessary support and resources. President Marcos, along with DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian, also led the distribution of government aid at the Oval Plaza Gym in General Santos City. About 2,000 tricycle drivers from General Santos City received 2,000 pesos cash aid each, while 206 families from the municipalities of Malapatan and Glan in Sarangani Province and General Santos City received 10,000 pesos each for those whose houses were destroyed and 5,000 pesos each for those whose houses were damaged. All beneficiaries also received family food packs and family kitchen kits. Meanwhile, President Marcos noted that once the situation improves, the first to be reconstructed would be public schools and hospitals. He was informed during the briefing that 20 public schools and 78 classrooms in Sarangani were destroyed during the recent earthquake, while 32 schools in General Santos City were damaged. All public schools are still operating, but assessments on the integrity of the structures will be conducted.
Dateline Malacañang.
Finally, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Friday led the inauguration of the Healthware Cancer Care Hospital, or HCCH, at the Arca South Estate in Taguig City. The HCCH is a premier healthcare institution that offers a wide and comprehensive range of cancer services from screening, diagnosis, and treatment to post-cancer care. These include radiation oncology, surgery, chemotherapy, and palliative care. Its primary goal is to provide Filipinos with quality medical services through state-of-the-art equipment and dedicated medical practitioners, among others. In his speech, the President congratulated Ayala Healthcare Holdings for establishing the first hospital in the country that is dedicated to cancer care. President Marcos said that this endeavor highlights the government's strong partnership with the private sector in strengthening the healthcare sector. Let's listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
I am extremely pleased to join you today as we open this first hospital in the Philippines dedicated to cancer care, this Healthway Cancer Care Hospital. I have to congratulate the Ayala Healthcare Holdings, Inc. And its chairperson, Fernando Sobel de Ayala, for this noble achievement. Let me also recognize the city government of Taguig, the Department of Health, the FDA, for their efforts in accelerating the process to establish this facility. The opening of the HCCH will go a long way in improving access to quality cancer care for many Filipinos. Moreover, this endeavor highlights our strong partnership with the private sector in strengthening our healthcare system, which is aligned with the Philippine Health Facility Development Plan and the Integrated Cancer Program. All of this is geared towards our goal of universal healthcare. With the help of HCCH, we can revolutionize the cancer care service industry in the Philippines through modern, state-of-the-art equipment, coupled with leading medical professionals and oncologists. It will certainly positively reflect on the country's growing potential as a leading healthcare destination in Asia. cancer still remains as one of the most dreaded illnesses in the country. Secretary Ted Erbosa just informs me that the cancer is now number 3 in terms of mortality for our general populace. However, with facilities such as this, we will allow the main weapon that we have in combating cancer, early detection. Early detection, this allows us for patients the best chance in fighting this disease. We therefore encourage all Filipinos to get regular checkups, now that we have the facilities, by going to community health centers. We have also made available primary care services where patients may consult for early detection of cancer. Our PhilHealth Consulta primary care team is also available to provide free diagnostic examinations and laboratory tests. For cancer treatment, we have designated 25 specialty centers in cancer care in select DOH hospitals nationwide. So I encourage the public to maximize these programs, services, and facilities for cancer care, prevention, and treatment as the government strives to bring healthcare closer to the people. We recognize that there are great financial burdens to cancer treatments. So to ease the hardship of cancer patients and provide equitable access to healthcare, we have also established the Cancer Assistance Fund, which will pay for the cost of cancer diagnostics and laboratories not covered by PhilHealth. So as we establish a more accessible, efficient, and responsive healthcare system, I urge all public and private stakeholders to support the Philippine Health Facility Development Plan and invest in building more health facilities similar to the HCCH. Rest assured that the government remains committed to nurturing an environment that upholds the total well-being of our people, of course, with the continued support of our private partners and investors in healthcare. I believe that this is also, not only is this an important day in terms of healthcare and in terms of our capabilities and capacities to help cancer patients, and to also those who need early detection, those who need testing, to give that facility to them. And it is important because we never had anything like this before. And it is a testament to the forward thinking of many of our healthcare professionals, and both in the public sector and in the private sector, certainly. And it is very important, it shows that we put a priority on the healthcare of our people. I cannot forget very early on in my political career when I was reminded. I was governor then, and and my staff could not understand. It says, you're using up 1/3 of your provincial budget for healthcare. We've never seen that before. And I quoted to them. I said, no matter how wealthy you are, no matter how successful you are, you cannot enjoy that wealth or that success if you do not have your health. And that is why it is a priority. It may not be politically saleable. Ang lagi kong sinasabi ko, pagka-eleksyon, sinasabi mo, tignan mo yung ginawa kong eskwelahan, tignan mo yung ginawa kong kalsada. What do you say about healthcare? Oh, our people are healthy. That's why people tend to deprioritize it because of the political concerns. But nonetheless, I cannot remove that from my mind. I was told, I was advised, healthcare is important simply because nothing else matters if you are ill. Nothing else matters if you are sick. Nothing else matters if you are dying. And that is why I am so pleased. I am so happy to be here today to see this as we progress in our healthcare system for the Philippines. We have learned many difficult, tragic lessons from COVID. And I am glad to see that we are applying those lessons learned now to the healthcare of our people. This is also important because it is a very clear example of how the whole of society, whole of nation principle can bring success. We in government provide the atmosphere, the environment to allow, to encourage even, to promote these kind of projects. And we have come together and we have come to this point, to this day, where we are able to say we now have a state-of-the-art cancer care center, which we have never had before. And I hope that this will serve as an example to many others who will say that this can be done and to encourage them to do more. So let us work hand in hand as we take the challenges in public health and deliver quality medical services to our people all over the country. With all of us striving together in this pursuit, I am confident that we will succeed to bring forth a stronger and healthier Philippines in the future. Thank you, and I wish the men and women of the Healthware Cancer Care Hospital all the best and all the success.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, we would like to invite everyone to come and visit our Facebook page at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang in Review. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.